Welcome to Cold Brew Finance's U.S. End-of-Week Deep Dive, covering market moves in indexes, sectors, stocks, and global markets for the week ending Friday, July 25th, 2025. Kicking things off, I'm Max Profit. Key indexes all posted gains this week. The S&P 500 index and the Nasdaq Composite Index both reached new all-time highs. The S&P gained 91.87 points to 6,388, while the Nasdaq added 212 points to 21,108. The Dow 30 Index rose 559 points to 44,901. Market breadth was overwhelmingly positive across all major indexes. The S&P 500 showed impressive strength with 381 advancing stocks versus 112 declining. The Dow saw 25 of its 30 components advance, while the Nasdaq had more than twice as many gainers as decliners. Looking at weekly returns, the S&P 500 and the S&P 400 mid-cap led with gains of 1.4% each. Year-to-date, the Nasdaq Composite shows the strongest performance with a 9.3% return, followed by the S&P 500 at 8.6%. Long-term performance remains robust. Over the past decade, the Nasdaq Composite leads with a 15.3% average annual return, while the S&P 500 has delivered 11.9%. The Russell 2000 has shown more modest gains, averaging 6.3% annually.
Checking out best and worst performing equities, I'm Penny Stock. AB4X surged to 66.49, closing up 5 consecutive weeks and hitting a new all-time high. AI and Aureus Greenway both showed remarkable strength, climbing 292% and 279% respectively. Weekly returns were exceptional, with AB4X delivering an impressive 568% total return and averaging 117% daily. AI followed with a 292% weekly return, while Aureus Greenway posted 279% gains. Looking at longer-term performance, AB4X shows remarkable strength with a 462% one-year return. Mill City Ventures 2 demonstrates sustained growth with a 67% average annual return over the past decade. Among large caps, West Pharmaceutical Services led gains, up 24.9% to 263.51. TE Connectivity hit an all-time high of 208.6 after 6 straight weeks of gains. Baker Hughes maintained a very strong upward trend. Weekly returns show West Pharmaceutical Services leading with a 25% gain. EQVIA posted strong momentum with a 24% weekly return and notable upward volatility. TE Connectivity continued its winning streak. 10-year performance highlights West Pharmaceutical Services with a 16% average annual return. TE Connectivity shows consistent growth with 13.2% annual returns over the decade, while maintaining current momentum. On the downside, Erayak Power Solution plunged 95.8% to 0.13, hitting an all-time low. Garden Stage Limited and OceanPal also reached new lows, dropping 92% and 88.5% respectively. Weekly performance shows severe declines, with Erayak Power Solution dropping 96%. Garden Stage Limited fell 92%, while Replimune experienced strong downward volatility, falling 74%. The worst performers were led by Erayak Power Solution, plummeting 95.8% to 13 cents. Garden Stage Limited dropped 92% to 13 cents. OceanPal fell 88.5% to 19 cents, while iCore Connect slid 86.2% to just 2 cents. Among large caps, Charter Communications led declines, falling 18.9% to 309.75. Texas Instruments dropped 14.6% to 184.99. Fiserv hit a new yearly low at 142.3, down 14.3%. All three stocks showed strong negative trends. Weekly declines were significant across these large caps. Charter Communications averaged a daily drop of 3.8%, while Texas Instruments and Fiserv saw daily declines of nearly 3% each. Monthly losses were also notable, ranging from 11% to 24%. Looking at longer-term performance, LKQ shows the weakest metrics, with a 39.6% three-year decline. Despite recent weakness, Chipotle Mexican Grill maintains a solid 76% three-year return. Texas Instruments leads in 10-year performance with a 277% total return.
And now on to U.S. sector performance, where healthcare leads with a 3.4% gain. Basic materials broke out from a consolidation period with a very strong upward trend. Industrials hit new all-time highs amid 5 consecutive weeks of gains. Market breadth shows strength across sectors. Industrials displayed impressive breadth with 483 advances versus 124 declines. Basic materials showed similar strength with advances outpacing declines by more than 4-1 in daily trading. Looking at returns, industrials leads year-to-date with a 17.5% gain. Communication services follows with an 11.3% advance, while basic materials has gained 9.6% this year. On longer-term performance, industrials shows impressive 10-year returns of 188%, averaging 11.1% annually. Communication services follows with a 154% total return, while basic materials has gained 105% over the decade.
Healthcare stocks showed significant strength this week. West Pharmaceutical Services led the group with a 24.9% surge to 263.51. IQVIA followed closely, rising 23.9% amid strong upward volatility. Thermo Fisher Scientific added 15.3% in mixed positive trading. Looking at returns, West Pharmaceutical and IQVIA both posted exceptional weekly gains above 23%. Month to date, IQVIA stands out with a 26.3% return, while Thermo Fisher has gained 18% this month. In long-term performance, West Pharmaceutical Services leads with a 10-year return of 340%, translating to a 16% annual rate. Thermo Fisher Scientific follows with a 246% total return over the same period, averaging 13.2% annually.
Among underperforming sectors, consumer defensive showed minimal movement with sideways trading. Despite broader market strength, utilities exhibited upward volatility while maintaining a strong positive trend. Energy displayed mixed positive momentum. Market breadth reveals interesting patterns. Technology shows strong daily advances with 455 stocks, up versus 210 down. Consumer cyclical maintains solid breadth with 361 advances against 112 declines. Consumer defensive displays weaker momentum with mixed monthly statistics. Looking at short-term returns, energy leads weekly gains at 1.4%. Consumer cyclical follows with a 1.2% weekly return. Year-to-date, technology outperforms with a 12.5% return, while consumer defensive lags. Long-term performance shows technology dominating with a 10-year return of 630%. Utilities and consumer defensive delivered more modest gains of 99% and 74% respectively. Energy significantly underperformed with just a 30% return over the decade.
consumer defensive stocks showed notable weakness this week. Philip Morris International led the declines, dropping nearly 10% and closing down for a second consecutive week. Costco Wholesale exhibited a strong negative trend, falling for 3 straight weeks. Dollar General has closed lower for 4 consecutive weeks, despite showing mixed positive trend signals. Looking at year-to-date returns, Dollar General and Philip Morris International stand out with gains of 41.9% and 33.7% respectively. However, short-term performance has been challenging, with Philip Morris showing the steepest weekly decline at nearly 10%, while month-to-date losses exceed 11%. In long-term performance, Costco Wholesale leads with an impressive 545% total return over 10 years, averaging 20.5% annually. Meanwhile, Dollar General shows concerning 3-year results with a negative 24.3% annual rate of return, significantly underperforming its peers in this time frame.
Thanks for watching. I'm Max Profit, along with my AI co-host, Penny Stock. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Cold Brew Finance is an experimental project with market reports written, narrated, and delivered totally by AI, with market data kindly provided by financialmodelingprep.com. Always seek professional financial advice before making any investment decisions. Check into the channel daily for coverage of stocks, crypto, currency, and commodities. Thanks for watching.